All right, what's up, you guys? This is going to be my last video talking about Ortiz and Wilder. Okay, I'm going to speak on a lot of things here. I'm going to speak on the heavyweight division as a whole, and where both of these guys going to go from here. But I actually finally watched the fight again last night at home. I've been meaning to get around to watching it. I haven't seen it since I left the arena that night. So I wanted to actually watch it again and see if I could point out any differences, any key differences in the fight, which I didn't. I saw the fight at the arena and at home the same way. Okay. Sometimes you watch a fight at an arena and you come back and watch it and you see things that you didn't see. Maybe it's because of the angles, position, where you're sitting. But to be honest with you, I saw it the same exact way. Okay, I didn't see. I think it was pretty cool to at least listen to the commentary. Look at Steve Harhood's his scorecard, and then look at the actual scorecards. Because a lot of people have an issue with that, and I'll bring that up in this fight, in this video. But let's get into it. So anyway, all right, the fight, the way I had it scored, I gave Luis Ortiz the first 4 rounds. Okay, I thought those rounds, he was pressing the action, he was coming forward, he was landing more jabs, and he was landing more straight left hands. Okay, Wilder, who would land a jab here and there, he would land a straight right hand, every now and then. Those first 4 rounds, there was nothing major that landed from neither one of them, but Ortiz was landing more. Okay, so I gave him the first 4 rounds. Okay, the fifth round, well, you know what? Let me go back a little bit. I thought Wilder was picking it up a little bit in the fourth round. All right, he was landing more jabs and more right hands in the beginning, but Ortiz in the fourth round still came back and was still landing more. All right, I didn't think the rounds were that hard to score. I thought it was pretty obvious. I know when I was in the building, people were saying the same thing. I don't need to lie. All right, it is what it is. But I thought Ortiz was up 4 rounds to 0. Okay, I've seen this before though. We've seen this before with Deontay Wilder. But once again, like I said in my other post-fight review, Wilder was very relaxed throughout the whole time. The only time that Wilder was in trouble was the 7th round. But outside of Ortiz landing those shots, Wilder was still very relaxed. All right, I thought he was getting outboxed. All right, but Wilder was still very relaxed. All right, going to the 5th round, seems like the same thing. Ortiz is landing a little bit more. Wilder's landing some shots here and there. Then he catches Ortiz and drops him. Okay, Ortiz is saved by the bell, and that round ends. Going into the next round, I think Wilder got the jump on him. I think he landed another big right hand. Didn't drop him, but I think it wobbled him a little bit. He got the 5th and 6th rounds. Okay, now in the first 6 rounds, this is how I scored it. I thought Ortiz was up 4-0. I thought the 5th round was a 10-8 round. So Wilder got those 2 points. And then in the 6th round, Wilder won again to me. So I had Ortiz up 4-3 at that point as far as points. All right. Going in the 7th round, we seen what happened in the 7th round. Nothing major. Ortiz is doing his thing. Wilder's doing his thing. Nothing major is happening. You fast forward to about 45 seconds left in that round. Wilder throws a right hand, right? Lands, right? Not ultra clean, but it was still a good shot. Ortiz clips him with a right hook, right? At the same exact time. So he took one to land one. The best shot he landed in the fight so far. Wilder, it's kind of funny because Wilder backs up a little bit and starts shooting a jab, but you can tell he's off a little bit. So Ortiz saw it. Wilder tried to fake it, but he was a little rocked. So Ortiz swarmed him, started landing big shots, left hooks. Straight lefts. He's going to the body. This was the only point in the fight that Ortiz was actually on the inside of Wilder. Wilder did a great job clinching and holding, but Ortiz was still finding areas and space to land big shots. Okay. Now, as far as that round, if the ref stopped the fight, that would have been a good stoppage. All right. The ref did not stop the fight. Wilder walked in a straight line back to his corner. Yes, he still was hurt, but he wasn't out of it. I seen Wilder at the end of the fight doing the conference and stuff. His face looked fine. I've seen his face look lumped up before. I obviously was picking Ortiz to win. So if the ref had stopped it, yes, I mean, I would have been happy because I would have made my money and stuff. But to keep it 100, Wilder did look fine going back to his corner. Okay, but there was a long period of time of getting hit and not returning fire because Wilder was just trying to survive. He was not throwing punches back. So if the ref did stop the fight at that point, that would have been fine too, because I've seen refs stop fights and I didn't even think they were premature. And they weren't, the onslaught wasn't nearly as bad as that. Like Wilder got hit a lot, and Wilder proved that he has a chin, all right, because he didn't even fall, which is crazy, right? So moving on from that round, we go into the next round. Then we go into the 8th round. There's a period there where the doctors are coming up to check him. Why? If you're going to check him in between rounds. But you have no reason to check him. He went back to his corner. He already sat there for his minute. He's getting back up to fight. And these guys are coming over and giving him more time. Wilder actually weighed them all. He's just like, whatever, and he turns around. All right? But they did give him a little bit more time. I don't think Wilder was 100% in that round. All right? That was another Ortiz round. That 8th round was another Ortiz round. Well, Ortiz continued, all right, to get at Wilder hard. Wilder, played it safe, played it, was really, really, safe in that round. And this is another round for Ortiz, okay? So going into the 7th round, I had it Ortiz up 4-3, or 4-3 as far as points. I gave that 7th round, I made that round a 10-8 round because Wilder didn't do anything in that round leading up to that onslaught, and Ortiz landed a lot of shots in that past 45 seconds. A lot of shots, all right? So I gave it a 10-8 round. All right. So now I have him up to 6-3, and I gave him the 8th round, which made it 7-3. Okay. So now that 8th round, key point. At that very point, Ortiz was extremely tired. So was Wilder, but Ortiz was tired and punched out. Wilder was exhausted from getting hit. Ortiz was tired and punched out. So now we go into the 9th round. Ortiz looks tired. He looks a little tired, but he's still fighting. He's still landing some, jabs and some shots. But I think this is the point where Wilder's starting to take control, okay? He's the younger fighter, and this is the point where a lot of people were saying to me, or a lot of people that thought Wilder was going to win late, all right? This is the point where Wilder started to look like the younger, fresher guy. And he started to take over. Okay? I gave Wilder the 9th round. Wilder definitely won that round. Then we go into the 10th round. And we all know what happens there. Wilder took over. He dominated, hurt him, dropped him. Ortiz got up, dropped him again. The fight was over. I knew at that point the fight was over. I knew after the first time the fight was going to be over. Because Ortiz was punched out and he was hurt, and when you, let me get into, before I get to the scorecards and everything, because obviously I don't agree with the scorecards based on what I just told you, going into the 10th round, I only thought Wilder actually won 3 rounds, okay? He got 10-8 round over Ortiz. But going into the 10th round, I thought that it was pretty clear that Ortiz was winning the fight and outboxing Wilder. All right? Well, let me say this. This is what I learned from the two fighters. All right? First of all, as much people are coming back to my channels and talking shit to me, Ortiz impressed. Okay, Ortiz was outboxing him. All right, Ortiz did a very good job for a guy that's 50 years old, like everybody's saying. He did a very good job. Uh, the only thing with Ortiz that I did not like, it seems like whenever Wilder landed the right hand, whether he went down or he stood up, he was going into a windmill field, like phase. He didn't act like the experienced fighter that he's supposed to be. Okay? Every time he got hit with a right hand, he started swinging back all crazy himself, leaving himself open for Wilder to land another shot. And he looked kind of amateurish when he was doing that. That was the one thing Ortiz was doing wrong, to me, in my opinion. Especially the first time where he got hurt and got knocked down. He was trying to, like, you know, he was one of those guys that got rocked, but he was making it look like he was fine. Like, dude, this guy, we all know what kind of destructive power he has. He's the hardest punching boxer in the world. There's no reason to fake like you're not hurt. You know, if you're hurt, grab onto him. I didn't see him really grab onto him until like the very end when it was too late. You know, he was trying to trade with Wilder, and that was, you know, crucial. I don't think, you know, I mean, listen, the fight probably would have went the way it went regardless, but that is one thing that I noticed with Ortiz as he got hit with right hands. Okay. As far as Wilder did a very, very good job keeping the distance, because we know that Ortiz has a better inside game. We know that Ortiz has some great uppercuts. You know, ask Brian Jennings. Wilder was never in position for Ortiz to use half of his tools. You know, he was never in that position. He did a very good job fighting on the outside, using his jab and following up with that right hand. He did a very good job. Okay, he was consistent throughout the whole fight, and he proves that he's better than some of the sloppy things and the mistakes that we seen him do. We seen him still making mistakes, but it was nowhere near on a level as like in the Spilker fight, where it was just like, yo, what the hell is this guy doing? There were like 3 or 4 what the hell moments in that fight. I didn't really see that in this fight, you know. For everything that's worth, like for what it's all worth, I seen a lot of training videos and stuff where he's hitting the mitts and stuff, where he doesn't look like he's the skillful fighter that we all think he should be. Well, when he's actually in the fight, he actually looked very calm throughout the whole fight. Even when I thought he was losing on points, he still was very relaxed in that fight, you know, and I'm giving him a lot of credit for that. Ortiz, you got to give him his props, okay? He got knocked out, but he didn't get dominated. You know, for these guys that's coming on here, these weirdos on the internet that's acting like it was a first round, because I got a lot of Wilder by 1, 2, 3 rounds, 4 rounds. You know, I got a lot of those. This guy is 50 years old. You know, I got a lot of those. I got more than those than the guys that was like, you know what, I think Wilder's going to win on a later end of the fight. You know, but Ortiz fought a very dangerous fight. He actually kept himself in range for that right hand. It was a nice strategy as far as offense and trying to get in there, you know, because his head was there to get hit. But, you know, he's trying to slip and counter every time. That was his game plan. The problem is, when he was tired, he was still trying to pressure Wilder in the same pace. And like, dude, you are leaving yourself open. You're not going to always keep slipping. You're going to get hit at some point. He fought a very dangerous fight. And even when he was tired and punched out, he kept fighting the same way. But the thing is, that jab and that left hand, it didn't have the same kind of effect that it did in those earlier or middle rounds. You know, you fighting like that in the 8th, 9th, and 10th round, dude, this guy's going to hit you at some point. You would have to fight a perfect fight. He had to fight a perfect fight for the remainder of the fight to win. And and this is where we're talking about the scorecards. How in the hell did these guys have Deontay Wilder winning the fight going into the 10th round? You know, I understand if you added those 10-round points, those knockdowns, that's one thing. But how in the hell did they actually have Wilder winning the fight going into the 10th round? That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Come on. Yo, even if you're a Wilder fan, like, come on. If you're a Wilder fan, right? If you're a diehard Wilder fan, I like Wilder, but I'm clearly not a diehard Wilder fan. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy I wanted to see him fight. But if you are a diehard Bomb Squad dude, you have to admit, like, yo, you was shitting yourself in that fight. Because I know no one in the building that I was talking to all around was thinking that they were booing him in the arena at one point. So, like, let's be real. You know, Wilder won because he has that right hand at the end of the day. And if he's down on points, he can, if he lands, it could turn the fight around. It doesn't even matter. You know, he could be getting outboxed every single round. He has the right hand. And Ortiz, the reason why I hyped him up, the reason why I thought he was going to win, and he should have won, is because he was the better boxer. He was the better boxer, you know? And I knew he was going to hurt Wilder, and I thought he was going to get out of it. That was pretty much my prediction, all right? He hurt him. He just didn't get him out of there in enough time. Had he had another 5-10 seconds, maybe he would have, you know? But you could make another argument that, well, if Wilder had more time in that 5th round, he might have knocked out Ortiz in that round. You know, you never know. You know, Ortiz was saved by the bell when he got knocked down in the 5th round. So I'm not even going there with that. It was a great fight. All right. I thought Ortiz was up on points, but Wilder did what he had to do, and he made it not go to the judges. So the judges and their crazy scorecards don't even matter because Ortiz got knocked out at the end of the day. All right. So this makes things a lot more complicated because I want to see the Joshua fight right now. I don't see the point of waiting. If Joshua is to beat Joseph Parker, what the hell are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? You know? Why does Anthony Joshua have to come to New York to fight Gerald Miller? And I don't have no hate on Gerald Miller, you know? But why is he getting a fight at Anthony Joshua? Anthony Joshua at this point will have 3 belts if he is to beat Joseph Parker. Why is the fight going to be at New York or Vegas? Why don't they go and fight in the UK? Because those guys pay money to go to the fights. They're going to make the most money there. Wilder should be going in the very next fight because they're both fighting in the same month. Wilder should be going out to the UK and fighting out there. Okay? Do I think it should be 50-50 split? No, I don't. I don't. Okay? And here's why. First of all, this guy has been making that type of money for several fights now. A few fights now. You know? Joshua is making that kind of money. You know, you can't compare. All right? Second of all, the guy got 3 belts. At the end of the day, he has 3 belts. Okay? Wilder has 1. That's if he beats Joseph Parker. If he beats Joseph Parker, he should be getting the majority of the split. I don't know what they're going to split. You know, I don't know if they're going to make it 60-40. I mean, make it 60-40, you know, 60-40. You know, I don't know what they're trying to go with. But if Wilder thinks he's going to get 50-50, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, man. Listen, take advantage of the opportunity. Whatever. I'm not saying that don't let them screw you over completely. You know, let's not let them bring it down to a point where you're getting whatever, if you're getting crumbs. But at the same time, dog, you're not going to get 50-50 here. You know, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. You know, whether you do it out there, whether you do it in Vegas, this guy got 3 belts, all right? And he won all 3 belts fighting 3 different people. You know what I'm saying? He didn't win them in one fight. You know, he won it by beating 3 different challengers. All right. Wilder hasn't had a unification match yet. All right. So that fight should be happening next. The whole Gerald Miller stuff, I'm not really feeling that. You know, I mean, if he wants to come out here and fight in Brooklyn, I mean, that's cool. That's cool. He wants to get fans here, but yo, that could have been, who was he supposed to fight before? He was supposed to fight Pulev before. I mean, they're both from out there, so it doesn't make sense for him to fight in Vegas. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to focus too much on that. I'm not feeling the Gerald Miller fight right now. I'm not feeling that. Okay, I'm not feeling that. You know, and I think this is what I think about like fight hype. Wilder beating Luis Ortiz had generated more hype than any other fight this year so far. Okay, more hype. All right, this is more hyped up than Lomachenko and Rigo and all these other fights we had recently. This has more hype into it than I'm talking about boxing fan talk than the Golovkin and Canelo rematch. All right. Let's get this fight going now. The hype is already there. Wilder passed his test. There's not going to be any more Wilder Joshua resume debates. Wilder passed his test. Wilder, in my opinion, had the hardest test, in my opinion. All right? In my opinion. That's just my opinion. There's a lot of people that share that opinion. Because I thought this guy, this good counterpuncher, that hits hard, was going to be some issue. Was going to be a tough fight. Listen, Ortiz, and let me speak on Ortiz real quick. I hope Ortiz doesn't retire. I would like to still see him fight other top heavyweights because I'm curious to know who else is he better than. You know, I want to know who can he beat. You know, I would love to have seen Ortiz fight Joshua. I would have loved to see Ortiz fight Joseph Parker or whoever else is left or Vladimir Klitschko. You know, I mean, he's retired, but I wanted to see him. When I first started seeing Ortiz, I was like, I want to see Klitschko fight this guy. You know, because Klitschko at that time was still on top of the game. So I wanted to see that, especially when he knocked out Brian Jennings. It was like, Klitschko had a tough fight with Brian Jennings. Not tough, but I mean, it was competitive. Ortiz destroyed Brian Jennings. You know, so I was like, I want to see how Ortiz do against Klitschko or one of these other top dudes. So I hope he stays in there. Do I think he's going to be getting another opportunity? Probably not. You know, the WBA banned him. They removed him off the rankings when, he popped. WBC kept him there, even though everything was cleared up with his blood pressure medication. But I hope Ortiz stays. Don't retire just yet. I know everybody's calling him old and stuff, but like I said, he didn't look old that night. I mean, he got tired, but he didn't look old. He didn't look old to me. Did he slow down? Yes. He slowed down, yes. But he didn't look old, man. I think he beat Joseph Parker. Would he beat Anthony Joshua? I'm not sure. The only person that I do know that I do believe that would beat Luis Ortiz is Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury is better at Wilder at fighting a rangy fight. I think Ortiz will have a harder time landing that straight left. I think Fury would beat him on points. That's the only guy that everybody else is like, I don't know. I got to see that fight. I got to see Ortiz fight, a Joshua or Joseph Parker, I think Ortiz would beat Pulev. I think, I think Ortiz would beat Povetkin. Ortiz did good against Wilder. I don't care if you guys got, he got knocked out. He did good against Wilder. All right? And he almost got Wilder out of there. So, as far as Wilder, I don't even know if I feel comfortable ever picking against Wilder again. Because if he's losing rounds, he could lose rounds to Joseph Parker, and he could lose rounds. He could be down on points against both Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua. And as soon as he lands a right hand, it's over. And let me tell you something. I don't think Joshua would react. I mean, listen, Luis Ortiz got rocked, but he took some clean ones from Joshua. I mean, from what's his name, Wilder. He took some. He took some well. But if Joshua gets hit with a clean right hand, it's over. You know. Now, Joshua probably hits harder than Luis Ortiz. So Wilder got to be careful too, because if Joshua hits him and starts landing combos, he might not be able to walk back to his corner. The fight might be over. It might get stopped. You know, he might get knocked out, or the fight might get stopped. But Wilder has proven to get hit, to have a chin. You know, he got rocked a few times in his career. He got rocked badly in this fight, and he still stayed up on his feet. You know, I mean, I know he got knocked out in the amateurs and everything, but as far as professionally, he got hit with a lot of shots from Stavern. He got rocked by Carlos Molina. Duhaupas hit him with a lot of shots. Spilka was outboxing him. I mean, he's not a huge puncher, but he was outboxing him well. And then you had Ortiz, who was I thought was outboxing him and landing big shots. So it's tough. It's tough. And you know what? I could see Eddie Hearn not wanting Joshua to fight this guy. It's too risky. Because we already know that boxers could be outboxing this guy. It might not matter. You know, and now I understand why Wilder is just working at what he's good at. Because he has the neutralizer. That right hand is the neutralizer. You know, you could be winning on points. Well, if I land clean, that's it. You would have to fight a perfect fight to beat him. You know, you cannot get caught slipping. He can punch through your guard. That's what makes him so dangerous. And I think that was his hardest test. Straight up. I think that was his hardest test. Now that he's proven himself, conversation is different. He proved himself now. You know? So, I'm trying to think now what else I had to talk on. You know, Tyson Fury looks like he's going to return. So that's very, very interesting. Very interesting. Now, let's speak on that real quick. I'm going to speak on that, and then I'm going to shut this down. Because we still got to see Joshua and Parker. You know, it's hard to tell. We're all just expecting Joshua to win this fight. You know, what if he loses? That really changed the whole dynamic on everything, you know. But let's talk about Tyson Fury and Klitschko real quick, because a lot of people are still bringing up Fury's win compared to Joshua's win over Vladimir Klitschko. All right. I know Fury easily beat Klitschko, but you got to understand, the reason why people are not giving that fight that much credit is because they both fought a safe fight, okay? Neither one of them went for the kill. You had Tyson Fury that was winning easily, all right, and just fighting a safe fight, okay? And you had Klitschko, who was down on points, knew he was down, but he's still jumping in and trying to grab on to to Fury. It's like he didn't want to get knocked out. So you got Fury not trying to knock him out, and then you have Klitschko not trying to get knocked out. So Fury's winning the rounds, but nothing's really happened. And this is why people overlook that win. You know? I don't. I mean, a win is a win. At the end of the day, you beat Klitschko. You took the belts from him. You was the first to do it. But Joshua actually tried to knock him out, and he did. Okay? It cost him. It almost cost him. But he got back on his feet. He gained his energy back. He came back, and he got the stoppage. People respect that fight. It was a great fight. People called it fight of the year. People are calling this fight of the year. You know? So, Joshua's win over Klitschko was legit. Klitschko fought Joshua. He wasn't grabbing and he wasn't trying to grab on to Joshua like he normally does. You know, that shit he did against Povetkin and he was doing against Tyson Fury, that didn't fly again in the Joshua fight. Klitschko fought that fight like everything was on the table. Like, this is my last fight. He fought like it was his last fight and it was his last chance to be at the top. He fought that way. He fought like a king. He didn't fight like that with Tyson Fury. He was losing. He was down. And you can just tell, like, he was comfortable with being down on points. Whereas in a Joshua fight, he actually tried to knock this dude out. He was not jumping in and leaping in and holding on him. He was trying to knock him out. So I respect Joshua's win. Let's not try to take away Joshua's win over Klitschko, because I see people trying to do that. That was a great win. All right. And he fought the better Klitschko. A Klitschko that hasn't fought that way in years. When's the last time we see Klitschko really try to go in there and knock someone out? You know, without holding them all every 2 seconds. So that was a great win for Anthony Joshua. So as far as resumes are good. Both of them are legit. They both passed tests. All right. They both have been hurt and behind in fights, and they come back and won fights. So now the only thing that's left is for them to fight each other. We don't need all these other little fights. You know, we could get those fights down the line, you know, mandatories and stuff. Right now, let's get that unification. Let's get that undisputed thing popping. That's it. You know, do it out there in the UK, you know. Why even come to Vegas? You know, like, why even build up? Like, nah. But Eddie's not going to let him fight him now. He's not going to let him do it. It sucks, but he's not going to let him do it. He's not going to let him do it. You know, especially watching that. He's not going to let him do it. I don't think Eddie's going to let him do it. Eddie's going to let him fight Gerald Miller and probably somebody else before Wilder gets his shot. I want to see the fight now. We don't need no more hype. You guys just fought in the same month. One fought his hardest opponent, and the other one is fighting an undisputed a unification. Okay, with another undefeated fighter. What more hype do we need? Gerald Miller is not bringing the hype. He's not doing it. I'm sorry. You know, I think this is a negotiation thing that they're trying to do. Come to New York and get more viewers. And I don't like that. You know, let's get the fight now. It could be a big summer fight. Let's get it for the summer. Let that be the fight of the summer. You know, if Joshua wins, if he wins, let that be the big fight of the summer. You know, and if Parker wins, I mean, like, I already spoke on this on other videos. Parker said he's down to fight Wilder if he is to win the fight. So, you know, let's see how that goes. You know, it might probably, if Parker wins, it's probably going to be a rematch, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm done with heavyweight talk. Much respect to Wilder. Much respect to Ortiz, too. Hope he stays around. And I was going to speak on some other stuff, but I'm going to leave that alone. I'll see you guys on the next one. Yo, make sure you guys hit subscribe, yo.